Hi, nice sunny day again. I think I might open the window while I'm waiting for anyone to come. So that's better. I wonder who's out there today. I'm going to have a sip of my tea when I wait and see. I hope you're all having a nice day today in the sunshine. I went for a lovely walk this morning and a seagull decided to take aim at me, let's say, and get a complete hit. So I've had 2 showers and washed my hair twice today. We're going to start in a minute. If you're new to my programmes, then it is about half an hour usually of art, but I usually come on about half an hour early, not half an hour, 5 minutes early, just so people know I'm here. I can see there's 4 of you there now. We're going to do something a bit silly and a bit fun today. The other day we did quite a serious art lesson, so if you're new to this as well, if you look back, you'll see that I'm not sure how many there are now. I think there's maybe 40 odd little half-hour lessons that you can turn into something really elaborate, or just have a bit of fun for half an hour and just let them be that. It's completely up to you. I also do full-on art lessons where I teach very, very quickly and very, very thoroughly the core fundamentals of art. And so this isn't what I'm doing on these lessons, but this is 3-hour progress of a 10-year-old girl not copying. This was the 3-hour progress of people doing the perspective lesson that even architects have said they couldn't believe what they learnt. 3 hours on paint and brush technique, generic to all mediums. And just to show the kind of speed of learning, this was the progress of a 90-year-old stroke victim in just 5 lessons, the progress of a 50-year-old German lady in 4 lessons, and the progress of a 40-year-old Sri Lankan man in 3 lessons. So this is nothing to do with having already been very good at art. It's about quickly learning because you actually understand why, and that you're not just copying me, which is what a lot of art lessons are. That picture that you first saw there was it was to do with me teaching a lady through Zoom the other day, that art lesson, the first one. And she's sent me subsequently loads of pictures she's done in the last 48 hours since the lesson, because suddenly everything's clicked together in her mind. These lessons are just me playing around with a few little ideas and having a bit of fun. I'm not giving away all my trade secrets here, so don't think they're one and the same thing. There's similarities in places, but the other one is very full on psychology and learning. This is just all a bit of nonsense for the fun of it, really. So, nice to see you all. I hope you're enjoying the weather. I'm planning on going out in my garden in a minute and painting a picture, and I might even stick this on live in the background so somebody can watch if they want. But I have to see how the weather holds up. At the moment it looks good, so that will be good. As I've still got a couple of minutes to go, hello Emily, hello Pamela, hello Anita. I'm also doing half-hour clinics, or an hour clinic if you like, where you don't have to book a whole lesson with me, but you can show me some of your artworks and I'll give you a whole lot of ideas for those. Again, if you check out on my TripAdvisor, and if you check out at the top of this page on Art Jeanni, you can see comments people have made. They're always very surprised how much they learn and how quickly they learn. So if you don't want to go for the whole kit and caboodle, you could always just do a half-hour lesson with me, see how it goes, and just show me a couple of your pictures and we go from that. I'm also doing Zoom parties with my son, who's an international juggler and based in Sydney, Australia. So he comes in from Sydney, I come in from sunny Cornwall here, and simultaneously we run parties through Zoom with him and I both present throughout. So they're quite good fun as well. So there's lots of options, but these free ones are going to be going along in some form for the duration until we come out of lockdown. So quite what happens after Sunday, I'll have to wait and see what the news is, but I'll keep it going in some form because I don't think they're going to release us yet, so we'll see. Okay, not leave it another minute yet. I'm just going to have a sip from my legendary spotty mug, and then we shall begin. So So it's very nice if when you've done these things with me, if you show me what you've done. I love getting photos. I used to get a lot of them from you at the beginning, but lately I haven't been getting so many, so please do send through pictures of what you've done, and then I can post them up on Facebook. Okay, right, well I think we'll start. Today I said 2 toilet rolls, and we'll go backwards and forwards between the 2 of them. If one's a little less good than the other, keep the better one to one side for the time being. And the very first thing we're going to do things in a bit of a funny order today, is we're going to take a pair of scissors, and I want you to cut off about the top third of your second toilet roll. So I'm just going to squidge it like that and just cut through the whole of the top third like that. Okay. And then I'm going to take some wool or string. I've got silver thread for some reason, because I've got a whole lot of this in my art room and I have no idea where it all came from, but I thought I'd use this up today. So I've got a whole lot of silver thread. I'm going to use that purely because I've got it. So with all my art lessons, please don't think you have to go out and get anything you don't, and you certainly don't have to use silver thread for this. It just happens to be all that I've got. Right. So I'm going to take a piece of silver thread and I'm going to put it around the piece of toilet roll like that, and I need to leave that visible, so I'm actually going to sit with that between my knees. So I'm going to hold it like that, so I've got the 2 bits of thread between my knees, and I haven't tied a knot or anything like that. Then I'm going to take another piece of thread. I've got another one of these, I might use that. Yeah, I'm going to use the new one, it might be easier. And here we go. I'm going to now, holding these 2 bits of thread between my knees so I don't lose them. So I've got it right down here between my knees. I've got quite a long piece of thread there, but I've looped it round over this. I'm now going to post my thread through the hole in the middle. So I hope you can all see me, through the hole in the middle. And I'm going to basically take the thread round and round and round. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tie these 2 together, my string that's between my knees. I'm just going to twist it together. So it's not tied, I'm just going to twist it once. And then I'm going to continue posting my threads round and round the toilet roll. So I'm doing it double thick thread to speed the process up. And I'm just going to go round and round and round. So I've got one thread running around the toilet roll that way that I've twisted. Now I'm holding it between my legs, and I've actually got a finger up between it there just to keep it from moving. And I'm just going to twist and twist and twist with my threads. And then I'm going to start coming the other way. Every so often, if you need to cut the ones that you're twisting around the toilet roll, it doesn't really matter. If you find that you're getting in a bit of a muddle, which I am here, so I'm just going to cut those. As long as I don't lose my first 2 legs, which were the ones that I'm holding between my knees, that's the only thing that matters, is that I don't lose those. And I'm going to keep twisting this. Oops, lost it. I need to keep that one on the toilet roll. And I'm going to keep twisting this round and round and round, going through the hole. I'm just getting that bit back. Right, so here we go. And through the hole again. I've lost my twist down here. I'm going to stick my finger up there to stop that moving. And I'm going round and round and round. Now, I'm not going to be able to go around as many times as you will, because you can do this for ages. If you've got all sorts of different colour wools as well, that's fine. But basically I'm twisting and twisting the other threads round and round and round, and I want to go all the way around my circle back down to my finger again. So I'm just going round and round and through the whole. This is reminding me of when I was taught to do a bow first of all on my shoelaces when I was at school, and we were told something about going around the rabbit hole and then down the burrow, and I can't remember the whole story anymore, but I remember that's how I was taught to do my shoelaces. I wonder if anyone else remembers that story and was taught it. So I'm just going round and round and round, and you'll see what I'm up to in a minute, but I need to go around a few more times yet. So I should have done one of these. Here's one I prepared earlier ones, shouldn't I? I thought I was going to go quicker than I am. So we're going round and round and round. And basically, I've got this one thread that was running around there that I'm still holding in place at the bottom there, and it goes all the way around. So this is almost starting to look a bit like an old napkin ring, for those of you who know about napkin rings. So I'm going round and 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 round, and keep going with the threads. And then when I get to the end of them, just tuck them under one of the other bits. I've still got the one thread running the other direction, can you see? And I'm going to keep doing that, and you need to build up a really, really thick rim of thread, but you need to keep this one thread running in the other direction. Now I'm going to go one more time with this, but then I'm going to stop. I would rather you kept going with it when you do yours, because the more you put on here, the more fun this will be. But I'm just going to put this one round now, so I'm going back through the middle again, and I'm just going around with another piece of thread now. I'm going to go through the double width of it just to speed the process up, and I'm going to whiz round like that and go round and round and round, keeping the other thread in place still. Now there is another way you can do this that some of you will know, and if you'd rather do that you can, but this will work. So, and as I said, only 2 toilet rolls. I am determined to do it with a toilet roll. Now I'm just going to keep going through when I'm talking for a minute. And as I said, do send me any other artworks that you've done based on my lessons. If you want to thank me in any way, if you've been watching them, please either put something on my TripAdvisor, Art at the Beach Newquay, or put something on my Facebook. And if you wanted to make some sort of donation, please donate to the NHS, because I was doing this in my mind to help them. I wish partly now I'd put a charity button at the bottom, but I didn't, but I'm sure a lot of you would like to donate to them anyway, so I'm sure there are other ways to do it. Whoops. Right, so I'm going to go around just another couple. Now I'm going to stop there, because I don't want you to get too bored watching me going round and round and round with the string. This won't work as well as your one will, because you're going to have more string that you've wound round. But I'm just cutting off the dangly bits, except my 2 bits of string which I've been holding all the way through. That's the one that comes down here. Now theoretically this should all be so solid with wool that you're not seeing the toilet roll anymore, but I'm just worried about the time with you. So what I'm going to do now is this string that I had, I'm going to pull it down so it sits on the bottom ledge. I'm just going to force it down the bottom ledge now of the toilet roll. So now instead of being in the middle, I've pulled it down to the bottom, and I'm going to pull it down in a minute and tie those 2 ends together. So there are my 2 that I've been holding all the time. I've pulled them down to the bottom edge, and I'm going to start tying them together like this. So I'm doing a loop. I'm going to hold back the thing I have teeth so I don't lose it. And I'm going to hold that there, and I'm going to pull that, and then, so I don't lose all the threads, I'm now going to go around and cut these threads free along that edge, holding everything carefully and holding that string together, because as I cut the threads I can start to tighten the string, and as I do so I'm going to get the equivalent of a pom-pom. Don't cut the string that's holding it all together though, whatever you do. So I'm going to cut around all the strings like this. Oops. And I think I've got most of them now, but I'll know when I have because it will suddenly all come away. I've got another couple to go, and I think I'm there. So I'm holding it all together as I go. Now I'm going to pull that string together, and as I pull it away, I've got one more string around my toilet roll still. Just cut that on, and I've made a pom-pom, or part of a pom-pom. Now there is another way you can do it with 2 circles and a hole in the middle, so give that a go if you like. I'm just kind of cut off the long hairy bits, and now the 2 long strings I had holding it all together, I'm going to tie them together good and solid a few times. So I'm going to just tie a few knots there. Oops. And I'm going to leave those strings on. So basically we were making a pom-pom. Now the other way you can do it, if you've got more cardboard, which I don't know if you have or not because I didn't ask you to bring it today, is you make 2 circles like that, and then you wind your wool through the loop and out and over and over and over and over and over like that, and then when you're finished you cut the wool between the 2 circles. So if you can imagine sideways, that would be one circle and the other circle would be sitting behind it like that, with the wool coming between the 2, and then you actually cut around where the wool's connected here, and then you tie a piece of string through and you pull it to the middle and then cut the cardboard away, and you get a pom-pom that way as well. So basically what we're after is a pom-pom. Mine's a rather pathetic pom-pom, but it will do. So I'm going to tie these 2 bits together a number of times, just so that the pom-pom doesn't fall apart and you want them nice and tight. Now, this is when the other toilet roll comes into action. We still need the bits of the one that we were just messing around with. And what we're going to do is, your pom-pom's going to have a lot more volume to it, but the pom-pom is going to become, sorry, I need a different toilet roll there, is going to become the wig of a person. So you could be really outrageous, because I don't know if some of you are old enough, but when I was at school we used to have gonks and things, and trolls, and I can't remember what the other ones were called, but anyway, so that sticking out of the hole at the top of your toilet roll is going to become your person's hair. So the bigger and fluffier your pom-pom is, mine's a bit straggly to put it mildly, the better. So that's going to be his hair. So that's our person's hair. So we've made a wig out of a pom-pom basically. The body, I said you could use fabric, you could use wrapping paper, you can just use drawing paper. It really doesn't matter, it's whatever takes your fancy. But I'm going to do the top bit in drawing paper, and I'm going to do the bottom bits in some fancy paper. So I'm now going to cut about 1/3 of my toilet roll high for the face. I'm going to cut a strip of paper. You could even do it by painting the toilet roll if you like. So I'm going to stick that bit of paper on. That's going to be the face level of my little person. Now I've got a roll of sellotape here, because if I use wet glue it's going to take too long to dry while I'm teaching you. So if you just bear with me, I'm just going to tape it from the back, which isn't ideal, but that's going to be where the face goes. Now I'm going to make this person really absurd because they've got silver hair already. So I'm going to give them a pink top And that's about another third of your toilet roll. So that's going to go across like that. Now you could say this was going to be a dress or something, you could just put it on flat like that, which should be fine. Or if you wanted to get really smart and clever, so everything I teach you is really for you to play around with and make your own ideas out of. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to put a piece of this gold that I found, gold sparkly paper I've got as well. I've got all sorts of strange things in my art room. As I said, don't go out buying gold or anything. I've just got these in my room. So that's going to be like the leg end of my little person. And my bit of fabric this time's a bit long, so I'm just going to tuck it up the hole there for now. Right, there we go. So that's the bottom edge. Now this could be a clown, a ballerina, a family member. You could try and make a little toilet roll person of everyone in your family. I'm just sellotaping this all down the back just for speed. Speed. His legs are unwrapping on his lower part. There we go. Right, so I've got the white at the top, is where I'm going to put the face. I've got that's going to be like for my legs, because I'm going to make this a ballerina. And what I'm going to do with this pink strip, this could be a paper doily, it could be anything you like. I'm actually going to pleat it so that I'm folding it in little pleats by doing like zigzags, and that's going to make it stick out. And you could stick this in place with glue, or you could stick this in place with sellotape if you really want to. As I said, I prefer to use glue, but to get the top edge at it, might be better to do it sellotape. So I've made a little frill bit. I should have made this a bit longer to go all the way around her, but I'm just going to tape the top edge almost like I'm putting a waistband on it, like that, if you can see. And I'm going to fold that back over to hold it in place at the top. So I've literally put kind of a waistband on the top, and that's going to be my little person's tutu. So I'm going round, and that could have gone all the way around. So she's got little gold legs now, and she's actually wearing a little tutu. So this is all a bit daft, but it's a bit of fun. For a sunny afternoon, you can go and sit in the garden and make toilet roll people with anything you can find around. And you could use a ribbon and pleat it to go around there. So I'm just going to stick this on the sellotape for all the reasons I keep saying, which is it's easier for me because I can show you more quickly with sellotape. It won't look as good as if it was done with glue though. So there goes my little tutu, and she's got gold legs, so she's wearing gold tights. She needs a little bit of top to her dress. And so I've just found I've got this pink ribbon that came off a bunch of flowers, so you don't have to have one of these, but you could use a piece of paper, you could make it whatever you like, but I'm going to attach that as the top of her dress. So that pink ribbon can be, well, in fact that pink ribbon could be another part of the dress. I think that might be even better, and I really don't know where that came from. And I wasn't particularly thinking of using it, but that's the whole way I like to teach you, is kind of see what's around and then make the most of it. I don't think that's going to work because it's refusing to come off the wire. So let me just take it out the other way. Oops. So I'm unwinding that. Okay, we've got bright pink now. That's the ribbon. So if I just attach that again with sellotape, that could even be a bow in the hair. That might be quite nice with my wig. So we've got her wig now that can go in. So I'm going to drop that through to the bottom and attach that with some sellotape as well from the strings further down. So I'm just going to drop that down in the hole. Yours hopefully will be full enough to sit on top of the hole and not fall through it like mine's most likely going to do. I'm just going to stick that in place with some sellotape inside the tube now, just so it doesn't move again. Right, that's that done. And then I'm going to actually join this pink ribbon to it to give her a pink ribbon in her hair, because my one is definitely lacking hair, because that should be a full big pom-pom, the kind that you get on top of hats to be the hair. Right, there she is. She's got a blonde fringe and pink hair. I think she's looking particularly attractive at the moment, and she's got a string hanging out of the bottom at the moment. I'm going to do the top of the dress now, so I was going to do it with that, but I can't. So I'm actually going to cut a little bit of this. This is why I said scraps of paper, scraps of fabric. You could just fiddle around and have a play. So I've given her a silver top to her dress, and I'm going to lay that over the pleats on the skirt there and bring it round and overlap it at the back and then sellotape it into place. So I've done that. So she is now particularly gorgeous with her purple tutu, silver top to her dress, silver hair, a pink ribbon and gold tights. I think we could question her taste in clothes a little bit. And then once we've done that, and you can just be as imaginative as you like, I'm going to give her some eyes. I'm going to give her blue eyes. Oops. Right, so she's going to have blue eyes. So I'm going to do this like we've done before. I'm going to do an arch. So it's like a tunnel, a railway tunnel, and then I'm going to put a blue circle inside that and leave some white in the middle. So that's the beginning of her eyes. If you've got googly stick-on eyes or something, you could do that as well. You could have, oh, her hair's just dropped off. You could put painted, you could paint on it first and paint her in skin tones. In the middle of the blue eyes there, I'm going to do a tiny little black bit then with a little white bit in the middle, and then you can see it really looks like she's looking at you. So I did a blue bridge, and then I did the blue bit round her eyes. There she goes. I'm going to put a little bit of black just over her eyelid like that, but not all over the place, so it's too much. Now she's looking at you. And then I'm going to give her a few little eyelashes. I'm going to give her 2 little dots for her nose, so she's nice and simple. And then I'm going to use the pink to do her mouth, because this is definitely a girl I'm doing. And if there are any boys watching, I do apologise. It was only because I only had silver and pink and things to use myself. So I've done a little top lip and a little bottom lip. And there she is. Right, and I might give her a few little freckly bits just for fun. So there's her face. I'm going to put her hair back in place, which is just dropped off. Oops, let me get that back in. Now that should be an entire pom-pom you've got there, so there shouldn't be any hole at the top. I've only got a hole at the top still because I did it quickly. There you go. She's looking quite groovy here with her swept over fringe. And then what we can do at the bottom and on the arms is using the other part of your toilet roll. You've got the 2 bits of the toilet roll that we cut in half. The bigger one, what I want you to do is squash it flat and then cut up the side and then cut up the other side, so you've got half of it. And this is going to be her feet, so we need to check the width of the toilet roll against her there, so you can see it's a bit bigger. So I'm just on the back of this going to draw a little bit of the circle so I know where the back of her is there. So I've just drawn a little line like that. Oops, her hair's dropped off again. And I'm going to cut round now and then cut out to her foot. Now she's in ballet gear, I guess she's wearing ballet shoes. So I'm going to then make that look like the shape of a ballet shoe, coming back into about where the toilet roll would end and out again like that. And I'm just going to round the toes if these are ballet shoes. And I can't get her hair to stay in. Let me try once more. So I think the idea, I always like this idea of making it look like all your family members is quite fun. Right, she's now got her hair back in place. You have to sweep it over to see her eyes. And then this bit we can then stick on down here to become her feet. And that bit you will need to stick on with glue. So you'd be sticking it on sort of like that. But before you do, we need to cover this in something interesting to make it look like her feet. So I'm going to cover it in this silver paper that I've got. As I said before, you could have painted it if you wanted, but we're going to make this into her feet. So I'm just cutting out using the shape of her feet as a template, and I'm just cutting around it. And that's her silver shoes. So she's going to look quite splendid, and also that's going to help her stand up. And that obviously you're going to glue on, but I'm not, because I'm going quickly, which is why her hair keeps falling off. Alright, but it's to give you the idea. Now I'm going to just tape this on, but it would much better be glued on or painted on. So I've taped it on one side. I'm going to tape on the other shoe now, so it's stuck to the cardboard. And there we go, we've got that. That's for her shoes. You could put some laces up them using the threads and things. You could turn them into looking like the exact ballet shoes that she might wear. So we're going to stick those on the bottom there. So I'm just going to do that again with tape for speed. And that's going to go on the bottom there, but you would glue it on ideally. And then last but not least, if you want to be really daft, so her feet are now attached. You're going to give her some arms. Now if she was a ballerina, in this case you might decide you want her arms up or something, so you've got to be a little bit ingenious about how you do these things. She's now got her feet attached so she can stand up. So she just needs some arms, and you could always draw the kind of gap between her legs. We could stick a little bit of the gold down here to make it look like you were seeing silver ballet shoes and a little bit of her gold tights. You could put laces on it. You could make this a man, a woman, a child, whatever you like. But the main idea is to use 2 toilet rolls to make a figure. And by sticking things on for a change, I thought that was quite a fun difference from what we've been doing with the other ones. And I've lost the end of my tape again. Oop. Right, there we go. So her feet have just dropped off again. There we go. I think this is going to be my blooper program today. Right, there we are. So there she is. Arms. Last thing we're going to do is use the other bit of the toilet roll, the first bit we used to do the pom-pom. I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to cut it round, where I've just cut it in half to be the top of her arms. So that makes that the top of her arms. And then I need to make this bit the bottom of her arms. So I'm going to say that her arm is coming down with the hand at the bottom here. So I'm coming in a bit, and then down to her arm and hand, round her hand. And I'm going to end up with 2 pieces that are going to look a bit like that. And they're going to be the 2 arms. So I cut them at the same time. And then I'm going to cover them in either the white or the pink or the purple or whatever seems appropriate. and then stick them onto the side of her. Now, because she's a ballerina, she might want her arms up, and I can't remember what the name is. Is it a plie or something? I did ballet so many years ago, I can't remember. But I'm putting her arms up bent, and so she looks like she's maybe dancing. And if it was somebody in a garden working, if you wanted to do a granddad in the garden digging or something, you could have the arm forward. You could even make yourself a little wooden spade. But basically the idea is the general toilet roll falls into 3 sections. Top section, face area; second section, body area; third section, leg area. Using the second toilet roll, we created legs, a pom-pom and arms, and then we dressed it, and the pom-pom becomes the hair filling the whole of the top. That looks better. She looks a bit more glamorous now. So completely daft, and I do apologise. Some of my ideas are a bit crazy, but it's all meant to be a bit of fun. You could make a whole series of these, a whole family of them, and then attach their arms. If you wanted to be really clever, you could attach the arms with like those butterfly clips. Do you know the ones where you poke it through and it has a little gold head, and then you split pin the back, and then that way the arms would even move. But you'd need to put those on before you put the hair in place. I don't know how attractive you find my little lady, but let's hope you quite like her. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. As I said, all a bit of nonsense, but you could go out in the garden now and make lots of little 3-dimensional figures using paper, string, and just drawing. The only bit you need to worry about is the face, and the way to do that was a bridge, a blue circle, then a black circle with a little dot, and then 2 dots for the nose, and then the top lip and a little mark under it for the lower lip, and then you're away. Absolutely bonkers today, I think. But anyway, if you're watching me for the first time, please don't take this as an indication of all the other lessons. I just thought it was a silly idea and I liked it, so there we go. Right, take care, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow. There'll be a list go up tonight of what you're going to use tomorrow. I suspect we'll do something more sensible tomorrow. Right, take care. Please would you be so kind as to like and share if you've just been watching it, because that helps me tremendously. And do put comments up. Please, nothing too personal today about how daft it was. And I will see you soon. If anyone wants any other private classes, then I'm available, obviously. Take care. Enjoy the sun. Bye.